Alright, time to dust off your My Chemical Romance CDs, put on your Slipknot hoodie, and get in a fight with your stepdad, cause with this guide, we're going in on teenage angst. Our lovable teenagers have been the center of much hate and complaints, most of which ends in rage quits, but today I'm going to show you to make the most of these idiots. Now, as always, these guides assume you know the bare basics of a character, such as they run fast, they stab fast, and they jump over shit fast. Let's get into the tips to help improve your Legion game. Starting with tip number 1, information is key. Now, I understand Legion has a built-in stall mechanic with Deep Wound that will cause survivors to stop what they are doing to mend. But what you must understand is the Feral Frenzy actually gives you enough information to stop the survivors' plans in their tracks. When survivors are marked by the Frenzy, pay attention to their actions. If you see 2 survivors by a gen, that means they're going to double team it, so you should probably go and stab them. If you see a marked survivor running to a survivor on a hook, that means they are going for a save. And if they're standing still, that's probably because they realize you're playing Legion and rage quit. Use this information to your advantage, and plan accordingly. If you stop a save attempt, or force 2 survivors to split up because of the information you got, that means you just prevented the survivor's game plan, and not only are you putting yourself ahead of the game, you're also putting pressure on the entire team. Oh, little known tip is Feral Frenzy will also detect if a survivor went inside a locker, so you can get an easy grab out of it. Watch out for a head-on though. Tip number 2 is you got mobility, so use it. While Feral Frenzy doesn't give you a huge boost in speed like Oni or Hillbilly, you still get a boost regardless. If survivors like to use perks like Sprint Burst to get distance between you two, you can use Frenzy to cover that distance they created, meaning you just make that perk worthless. Keep in mind, even if you don't get to hit them, what matters is you got that distance back from them. Going back to the first tip about information, if you know survivors are focusing on a single gen, or if they like to frequently go for that save, you could use the Frenzy to beat them to the gen or the hook, instantly being ready to deny them of that gen progress or the save, even if you don't get the Frenzy stab. I will say it again, what matters is you covered the distance. This leads into tip number 3, which is knowing when to cancel your power. Surprisingly, if you run to the survivor and get close enough to sniff their back, they won't get much further ahead of you when you are stunned from canceling your power. However, be careful when doing this, cause this can either end the chase or make it even longer. You want to cancel your power when you know the survivor is in an area where the pallets are too far and there isn't many windows left. What you should absolutely not want to do is cancel your power when windows are available. Pallets are fine, especially if you understand how to loop against them, but when you cancel and they have a window nearby, they will hop right over it and create a massive distance between you two, which defeats the purpose of using your power to get closer to them. Again, fuck windows. All my homies hate Windows, especially Windows 10 with all their fucking updates. But, thankfully, there is a way to stop this. With tip number 4, you should learn how to properly body block. This is a tactic you can find with the Wraith, since you can use your speed increase to get ahead of survivors and block their body, denying them from whatever loop they are trying to get to. If you see them going for a loop, run ahead and cancel your power just before they get to the pallet, to block them from using that small tunnel space they need to drop it. Doing this will cause them to either go around, which you could still catch them and hit them, or they'll get stubborn as fuck and flap around like a dying fish trying to squeeze past your tiny ass. And trust me, there are a lot of stubborn survivors out there. Remember to do this for Windows as well. If they don't make it past you, it's a guarantee to be a down if they are injured. Before we move on, if you ever want to discuss killer builds or want more in-depth killer tips, we are now streaming live on Twitch at Genuine Chillcasts, aka the name of the channel you're currently watching. We are a small community, which means I'll be able to answer any other question you have about the other killers. Oh, you will also get this awesome clown emote if you subscribe. And if we get enough subs, I'll be able to move down this Yui emote from tier 2 to tier 1 so you can get both of them. So come and chill with me as I get clapped by Survive with Friends squads. Now back to the tips. So with tip number 5, you'll have some homework to do because you need to learn how Legion's ability synergizes with other perks and add-on combos. In my opinion, I think Legion has the most perk synergy out of all the killers. They're just so damn good with anti-healing and debuff perks to the point where they become deadly in the long run. Let me explain. With Legion's power, you'll be able to get all survivors injured as early as the start of the match. So, if you're running perks like Thanatophobia, they will immediately have to deal with that massive 16% penalty to their actions from the very start of the game. First they have to mend, and if they don't heal, they're at one-shot range. But if they do heal, they have a penalty to deal with, making the healing process longer, meaning they aren't working on gens the whole time. But wait, there's more. Maybe you'll get a group of survivors who don't heal, and they're okay with that because they're running dead hard. Well, slap on Blood Echoes to constantly make them exhausted. If they remain injured, taking away their exhaustion perks creates a wasted perk slot. Not to mention the fact that they will be bleeding all over the place with the hemorrhage effect, making it easier for you to track them. Wait now. What? If you want to keep them at one-shot range, but Thanatophobia and even Sloppy Butcher won't stop them from healing. Well then, slap on the green pin to get them broken for 60 seconds, meaning they can't heal for all of that time. So if you find them, it's guaranteed to be a one-shot down. Trust me, learning this will be important, because the add-ons and perks changes Legion's playstyle more drastically than they do the other killers. If you perform your best with anti-healing, then double down on it with perks and add-ons that support it, so you can be as optimal as possible with your game plan. Tip number 6 might be obvious, but let me explain how much you want to be in this situation. If all the survivors are in a single spot, together, you're going to want to frenzy and hit all of them while they are close. This right here can end the game within seconds, because not only are they all injured, but they are within the same area. If you manage to down one person, slug them and look for the others, because they are more than likely trying to mend themselves as soon as possible nearby. Pretty soon you'll have everyone slugged, and that's the end of the game if they don't have Unbreakable. But even if you don't manage to down all of them, just downing 2 survivors puts you miles ahead of them, since now 2 survivors are hooked, 2 are mending, and no one is doing gens. If you find a third person and down them, you basically have the game on lock. People don't realize how damn brutal Legion can be if they slug after Feral Frenzy, because you are putting the survivors in a position where they either have to stop doing gens completely to prevent you from a slugging win, or they have to sacrifice their teammates to get a gen done. It's a lose-lose situation, and that's exactly what you want to put the survivors in. Tip number 7 is actually a funny one. Over time, you'll learn survivors do not respect you when you're in a frenzy. I can't tell you how often I stab someone in a frenzy, only for them to start mending in front of me. If you catch on to this, get close and body block that little shit as you cancel your power. By doing this, you will more than likely make them pay for not respecting your presence as a killer. Other things to look out for is the old window trick, where after you hop a window or a pallet, they will try to pull a fast one on you and sneak by your side to jump back over that same window or pallet. Over time, you'll easily be able to see this coming and immediately stab them mid-vault, but if you're just starting out, make sure you keep this in mind. The last thing to keep in mind for this tip is survivors will go out of their way to pallet stun you. I will say, being stunned by a pallet while in Feral Frenzy actually stuns you for less time than canceling the frenzy, so sometimes you might actually want to eat that pallet if they have nowhere to go. However, in more loopable areas, what you'll want to do is psych them out and make them drop the pallet, so you can vault over and get that stab. Again, watch out for that window trick I just mentioned before, but this is what you want, because not only did they lose the chance to hit you, but you also got a free hit out of it, and a drop pallet you could break later if the survivors don't have any gen pressure going on. If you're running Iridescent Pin, you will really want to make use of this, and by the end of the game, there won't be any pallets left. Well, that's all the tips I could give you to complete your edgy teen transformation. Legion, in my opinion, is a pretty straightforward killer. I play them especially when I don't feel like putting much thought into playing killer like I do with Clown or Deathslinger. Hopefully this guy will help you out. And I just want to say, thanks for all the love the Clown and the Deathslinger guides have been getting. I hope you enjoyed this one as well. Next video will be the return of my Should You Buy series, where I will take a look at the latest Dead by Daylight chapter starring the Blight, and I will help you determine if that new chapter is worth your money. If you liked the video, you should like the video, because seriously, thanks to your guys' likes, this channel is really gaining some traction. Anyways, I'm Chris from Genuine Chill, and thank you for watching.